Hey guys, I'm Victoria from Fancy's Fine Arts, and today I'm going to show you guys how to start crocheting. All of the basic things I'm going to go over, basic stitches you're going to need to know to read any pattern, stuff like that. So first what I'm going to talk about is picking your yarn. When you go to the store, it might be like super overwhelming to see like all different kinds. I mean, the colors are really cool. Like, that won't be overwhelming. You'll know what colors you want to pick for whatever you're trying to make. But as fabrics go, that's a little bit more difficult. Not really. I know I started out with acrylics. I think they're really cheap and really easy to work with, and you actually get a really nice product from acrylics. Like, I can show you guys now. I recently just made this yarn bowl. Basically, a yarn bowl is like, well, it's like foldable, obviously, because it's crocheted. But you like unhook this button and you put your working yarn, like your ball of yarn, into the basket, and then you let the tail run out, and then you like buckle it in, you fasten it in. This just helps the yarn from getting dirty. Like, if I'm working with white yarn, I don't want it like rolling all over my floor and going under my bed. You don't know where it's gonna end up. So I made one of those, and I made this out of acrylic yarn. It's just like your basic acrylic yarn you could get at Michael's, literally anywhere they sell acrylic yarn. And it comes out like really nice. I wouldn't like, I don't know, like, it looks very professional. I wouldn't not buy yarn just because it's acrylic. Some people are like hung up on using wool and like different fabrics and stuff. Wool's a little bit itchy to me. I don't see what the big deal is. The other thing that I've recently been working with, because it's summer and like, you don't, acrylic gets really hot. Like, you don't want to make a summer sweater out of acrylic because like, it has like man-made fibers in it that like keep your body too hot. So what I've actually been working with is cotton. This is really cheap also. It's sugar and cream, and I get these from Michael's they're usually $1.99, but they're always on sale at Michael's. So I've gotten them like 4 for $5. And then like 2 for $3. Like, they're always on sale. So I got these like funky tie-dye colors, and that's what I'm going to show you guys with today. So yeah, I've been working with these cotton threads a lot. I love the colors. I love the texture. I'll show you guys. I just made this ring literally 2 minutes ago. And it's just, I can even like tell you guys how to make this. It's really, really simple. It's just a chain, which is, I'll explain what that is in a second, but I'll explain it now. A chain is your foundation. That's where you start moving forward from. So you make a chain of however many chains to get the length of something. So if I'm going to make a scarf, I'm going to use like a lot of chains. It's a little difficult to explain. But I'll show you guys in 2 seconds. So I just wanted to talk about picking your yarn. I wouldn't go too crazy. I would honestly pick the colors that you want. Pick really pretty colors, and you know what? If you like the way it looks, you're going to like the way it comes out. Because, I mean, I wouldn't pick something scratchy. That's just me. Especially if I was making a sweater or a scarf. Like, who would want a scratchy sweater or scarf? So the next thing I'm going to talk about really quick is reading labels. This is also something I don't pay much attention to, but I'll show you guys quick. I have one of these pencil cases with my whole set. I have knitting needles in here, and I have all different crochet hooks. And I bought my set of all different size crochet hooks from Amazon, and they were like $1 for a whole set of all different size crochet hooks, and that's like a really good bargain. I would suggest getting your hooks from Amazon, knitting or crocheting hooks, because you can get a wide variety of sizes, and they're much cheaper than going to Michael's. Michael's, just one crochet hook runs you about $3. And the best thing to do is have all different kinds, because you never know what project you're going to end up with. So I would buy like the value pack. They don't need to be like, I mean, mine are like, the ones I bought, like, they haven't broken. They're like really, really sturdy. I just found them and they worked out really, really well. So I use these. But as I was saying, on the label, you have a couple different things to read here. So I'm going to show you. First of all, you have the color number. So that's going to tell you. And then the lot number is super important. If you're making a blanket, if you're making anything that requires more than one ball of yarn, you're going to want to match the lot numbers. See right there, it says 120531. That is basically to ensure that the colors you're using from each different ball of yarn will match each other perfectly. Because even if I get the same like color, like what is this color? Let's see. Oh, it's called Psychedelic, which is pretty cool. Even if I buy like Psychedelic sugar cream yarn like from a different store than I bought this, sometimes the amount of dye they put in is just slightly off, and then you get a different color, and it's not always so noticeable. And again, if you're doing a small project, you don't even need to worry about the lot number, but that's something you'd want to consider if you were making a larger project and you want the colors to be like very exact. It's not super noticeable if you don't get exactly. The other thing is that it'll tell you what it's made of. So let's go, where is this? Okay, so this is 100, where? Huh, there's a free pattern on the label. We'll have to look at that. I don't know what pattern that is. Made in China from 100%, made in Canada, I just read that wrong, from 100% USA cotton. So it's just cotton, but here's what I'm going to show you. So right there, you have medium 4 yarn. That's like the thickness of the yarn. To be completely honest, I completely ignore that, and I've never had to use it ever. The thing I use more is this. This little box here shows a little crochet hook in the middle, and it says 5 millimeters. Now that's suggesting that you use a 5 millimeter crochet hook. What I'm going to show you guys with is exactly that. I just have to pull it out of my box, and I will in a second. So you're going to, that's the best thing to follow. I mean, you don't, if you want tighter stitches, like this is just like down the road if you start making more different kinds of projects. If I was going to make a bikini out of cotton, you wouldn't want there to be holes in it, so you would pick a smaller needle. You could do, I've used this cotton all the way down to a 3.0 needle, and that's like much smaller than a 5 millimeter. So, you know, like you have a range. If you don't have a 5 millimeter crochet hook and you have a 6, don't worry about it. If you're making a blanket, a scarf, a hat, any of those things, it's not going to make much of a difference. If you're working on if you're working off of a pattern, it might change the size of your garment, but again, it's not, it's sort of trivial. You gotta find a hook that, it's easy to use the yarn with, it's comfortable, you get nice looking stitches, they're like the proper size, and it all comes with time. I would just get a bunch of needles and practice and see what you like. And at this point in me making my crochet items that I sell on Etsy from Fancy's Fine Arts, as I was saying before, I use whatever size needle I think would be right. And that just comes with time and practice. I've been crocheting for years and years. So, but it doesn't even take years and years. It'll take you a relatively short amount of time to get comfortable with different size needles and different yarns. The other thing I'm just going to show you guys quick is this is the knitting. Let me focus good. Okay, so that's suggesting that you use 4.5 millimeter knitting hooks. Knitting is a totally different ball game, and I know how to do that too. Maybe I'll make a video on how to show you guys how to do that, because the actual knitting is not difficult, but I find that starting off knitting is very difficult. You don't start with a slip knot like you do with crocheting, and it's just, I don't know, it's very different. And people get them confused, and I'm like at the point where I'm like, no, I'm crocheting, and people are like, what the hell's the difference? And I'm like, there's a huge difference. It's just embarrassing. So now I'm going to show you guys how to get started.